When our roles grow out of mission, vision, and principles, balance is a deeper issue than spending time in compartmentalized boxes of life. Balance is in living, loving, learning, and leaving a legacy, and our roles create the synergistic, sometimes seasonal avenues through which we do it. 2. Each role is a stewardship. Nature teaches us of a larger interdependent balance. A tree itself is part of a huge ecosystem. Its well-being affects and is affected by the well-being of other living things around it. The reality of this interdependence makes it vital to recognize each role as a stewardship. A stewardship is a trust. A steward is one called to exercise responsible care over possessions entrusted to him or her. We're stewards over our time, our talents, our resources. We have stewardships at work, in the community, and at home. Stewardship involves a sense of being accountable to someone or something higher than self. Whether we think of that someone or something as a creator, future generations, or society in general, this is an idea whose time has critically come. That fact has been dramatically brought to our attention by such issues as the environment, the national debt, and AIDS. Ownership implies, I can do what I want without consequence to anyone else. But the idea that we can destroy or misuse any resource with impunity is an illusion. We're creating results that impact quality of life for future generations. There's no way we can escape accountability. We do make a difference, one way or the other. We are responsible for the impact of our lives. Whatever we do, with whatever we have, money, possessions, talents, even time, we leave behind us as a legacy for those who follow. And regardless of our own scripting, we can exercise our unique human endowments and choose the kind of stewards we want to be. We don't have to pass on abuse, debt, depleted natural resources, self-focus, or illusion to future generations. We can pass on a healthy environment, well-cared-for possessions, a sense of responsibility, a heritage of principle-based values, and the vision of contribution. By doing so, we improve quality of life both now and in the future. You may find it helpful to use the chart on the opposite page to look at your own roles in terms of stewardships and identify to whom you feel a sense of accountability in each role. In Section 3, we'll take an in-depth look at how we can create stewardship agreements with others that deal with the full reality of the interdependent nature of our roles. 3. Each role contains all 4 dimensions. Each role in our lives has a physical dimension. It requires or creates resources. A spiritual dimension. It connects to mission and principles. A social dimension. It involves relationships with other people. And a mental dimension. It requires learning, growing, increasing understanding, and skill. Let's consider the social dimension in more detail. Every role has a relationship with family members, work associates, relatives, or friends. Even the work role of the janitor who cleans the building alone at night involves his relationship with the people he works for and those who benefit from his labors. To see this vital social dimension empowers us to put people ahead of schedules. Executives who see their role in terms of tasks are easily frustrated by interruptions from employees. Those who see their role in terms of people find deep fulfillment in opportunities to meet needs, to empower, and to help. Homemakers who see their role in terms of making beds, cleaning, and preparing meals have difficulty dealing with a child who doesn't want to do his work. Those who see their role in terms of the family members they love and serve find joy in a teaching moment with a child. Instead of a task orientation that gets in the way of relationships, awareness of the social dimension of each role helps us develop a people orientation that creates rich, rewarding relationships with the people with whom we live and work. Each role also has a mental dimension of learning, growing, increasing understanding, and skill. A significant part of effectiveness in any role is in the balance between developing and doing, between production, P, and increasing our production capability, PC. We see it in the executive who goes to a seminar to learn things that will help her be more effective in her business role. We see it in the teacher who spends part of his summer taking a class to improve his teaching skills. We see it in the mother or father who reads or takes classes to improve parenting skills. Looking at our lives as a whole, the P-PC balance involves renewal in all 4 dimensions on a regular basis. It's taking time to exercise, to read, to connect with our deep inner life so that we increase the character and competence, the energy and wisdom we bring to every role in our lives. Quadrant 2 organizing nurtures balance. Natural balance is a dynamic equilibrium that manifests itself in 3 important ways in our lives. Primary balance is the inner balance between our physical, social, emotional, and spiritual dimensions. There's no balance in life without balance in our inner life, without the synergy created when living, loving, learning, and leaving a legacy coalesce. Secondary balance is in our roles. It's a synergistic balance, a sometimes seasonal imbalance as the parts work together to create a greater whole. The P-PC balance is the balance between developing and doing that empowers us to do more effectively by increasing our capacity to do. Let's look at how the Quadrant 2 process nurtures abundance and balance in our lives. As we review our mission each week, we connect with passion and perspective. We focus on the fundamental inner balance of our physical, social, mental, and spiritual dimensions that gives meaning to outer balance in our lives. As we review our roles, we see them as the avenues through which we can accomplish our mission. We see their social, mental, and spiritual as well as their physical dimensions. We look for ways to create synergy between them and the needs and capacities of others. The first role on the weekly worksheet, Sharpen the Saw, is the only role that has a printed title. All the rest are blank, because Sharpen the Saw is our personal PC role. It reminds us not to be so busy sawing that we don't take time to sharpen the saw. Through this role, we renew each of the 4 dimensions on a daily basis, and we increase the character and competence, the energy and wisdom we bring to every other role in our lives. We can further nurture the balance of roles in the Quadrant 2 process by organizing and clarifying expectations around roles. Organizing information by roles. Filing notes by a particular role, rather than chronologically or alphabetically, makes retrieval quick and easy because of the mental association. In your organizer, you can create a section for each role. Then when you take notes, you can file them under the appropriate role. If you get prices for new siding for your home, put it under the role that includes home management. If you get an idea for a new product, put it in the job role that reflects product development. If you receive information for the charity drive, put it in your community leadership role. If you have information on your spouse's birthday, your children's shoe sizes, or the dog's vaccination schedule, put it in your family role. Some people even find it handy to keep a list of phone numbers and addresses under each role. For example, they keep phone numbers for work associates under a work role, and phone numbers for services such as carpet cleaning or window washing under home management. When you no longer need immediate access to your notes, you can transfer them to a file set up according to your roles. Professional information can be filed in a file drawer set up according to your job roles. There might be a folder for each role, perhaps even color-coded for faster identification, and then subdivided for more specific information within each role. Projects in process can also be organized by role and then transferred to the file drawer when completed. Family information, such as gift ideas, clothing sizes, or parenting goals, can be organized in a file drawer, 3x5 card file or in your personal planning tool under the appropriate role. Your own plans for personal development, such as a list of books to read, a record of your exercise, or a wish list, can be filed under your role as an individual. Your computer screen can also be organized according to role, giving ready access to electronic information. Organizing information according to roles is consistent with your own mental process. Often trying to follow elaborate filing systems that someone else has devised almost defeats the purpose unless you happen to have the same mental framework as the system developer. Organizing information by role also reinforces a focus on Quadrant 2, thinking more about the important but not necessarily urgent things. Every time you take a note, look up a phone number, file information, or use your computer, you're thinking in terms of the important relationships and stewardships in your life. Clarifying expectations around roles. Many people find it helpful to create a more detailed definition of a particular role than they have in their personal mission statement. Creating a mission statement or stewardship agreement for a particular role provides that definition and also creates shared expectation for others involved in fulfilling the role with you. If you're a husband or wife and a parent, for example, you and your spouse may want to express your shared vision and values of parenting. On the job, you may want to create a clear agreement with your boss concerning your role in the business. We'll look at shared vision and stewardship agreements in depth in Chapter 12. Such agreements can be filed under the appropriate role in your organizer for ready access and frequent review. Understanding balance and roles in a holistic way empowers us to transcend the conventional constraints imposed by Chronos time. With a Chronos mentality, we see our roles as segmented compartments of life, conflicting and competing for our limited time and energy. This paradigm creates a scarcity mentality. There's only so much time. It's either or. We can't possibly do it all. But with these more holistic paradigms, we look at our roles through the lens of and. We see a deep connection between the roles in our lives and incredible opportunity for synergy. It creates an abundance mentality. Time may be a limited resource, but we aren't. As we create synergy among the roles of our lives, there's more of us to put into the time we have. Quadrant 2 goals to cultivate the balance of roles. Evaluate your mission statement and your roles to make sure that your roles grow out of your mission and that your mission includes all the important roles in your life. Analyze each of your roles in terms of relationships and stewardships. Organize your planner or organizer around your roles. Organize your file or computer screen around your roles. Work on mission statements or stewardship agreements for each of your roles. One of the most common elements of all self-help and management literature is the idea of the power of goals. We've been told to set long-term goals, short-term goals, daily goals, monthly goals, personal goals, organizational goals, 10-year goals, lifetime goals. The virtues of measurable, specific, and time-bound goals have been preached from the pulpit of self-help books for generations. Goal setting is obviously a powerful process. It's based on the same principle of focus that allows us to concentrate rays of diffused sunlight into a force powerful enough to start a fire. It's the manifestation of creative imagination and independent will. It's the practicality of eating our elephants one bite at a time, of translating vision into achievable, actionable doing. It's a common denominator of successful individuals and organizations. But despite their obvious value, our experience and feelings about goals are mixed. Some of us can set heroic goals, exercise tremendous discipline, and pay the price for incredible achievement. Others can't keep a New Year's resolution to pass up dessert 2 days in a row. Some see goals as the primary factor shaping the destiny of individuals and nations. Others see them as superficial, pie-in-the-sky idealism that has no staying power in the real world. Some of us stick to a goal, no matter what, and some goals stick to us, no matter what. Some authors tell us that if we think positively, we can do anything. Others tell us to stop beating ourselves up when we find out we can't. In all our experience around goal setting, there seem to be two major areas of pain. One is the blow to our integrity and courage when we don't achieve our goals. And two is the sometimes devastating results when we do. Withdrawals from the personal integrity account. As we said earlier, we each have what we might call a personal integrity account that reflects the amount of trust we have in ourselves. When we make and keep commitments, such as setting and achieving goals, we make deposits. We increase our confidence in our own trustworthiness, in our ability to make and keep commitments to ourselves and to others. A high balance in this account is a great source of strength and security. But when we don't achieve our goals, we make withdrawals, and this becomes a source of great pain. Over time, frequent withdrawals cause us to lose confidence in our ability to make and keep commitments and to trust ourselves and others. Cynicism and rationalization follow, and these attitudes sever us from the power of setting and achieving meaningful goals. Then, when we need strength of character to meet critical challenges in our lives, we find it just isn't there. Stephen: once I served as an assistant in a survival camp and led a group of students on an overnight hike. We ended up in a valley where we had to cross a river hand over hand on a rope. We were exhausted, fatigued, and dehydrated. We'd had no food or water for about 24 hours, but we knew that across that raging 40-foot wide river was breakfast. As one of the leaders of the group, I was supposed to go first. I started out with determination and even a little arrogance. I started bouncing around on the rope and showing off. But by the time I got halfway over, I felt my strength starting to go. I tried every technique I knew, from sheer willpower to visualizing myself making it across and eating that food. But I reached the point where I was afraid even to take my hand off the rope to move forward. I didn't have the confidence my other hand could continue to hold up my body weight. Right in the middle of the river, I fell. The strength just wasn't there. I was dangling on my safety rope on top of this churning water. The students loved it. Pride goeth before the fall. As it turned out, most of them had the same experience. Only a few had the strength to make it. Building character strength is like building physical strength. When the test comes, if you don't have it, no cosmetics can disguise the fact that it just isn't there. You can't fake it. It takes strength to set a heroic goal, to work on chronic problems instead of going for the quick fix, to stay with your commitments when the tide of popular opinion turns against you. There are many reasons why we don't achieve our goals. Sometimes the goals we set are unrealistic. We create expectations that don't reflect any sense of self-awareness. New Year's resolutions are typical examples. Suddenly, we expect to change the way we eat, the way we exercise, or the way we treat people simply because the calendar has changed from December 31st to January 1st. It's like expecting one of our children to learn to crawl, eat with a fork, and drive a car all in the same day. Our goals are based on illusion, with little self-awareness or regard for the principles of natural growth. Sometimes we set goals and work to achieve them, but either the circumstances change or we change. A new opportunity surfaces. There's a shift in the economy. Another person comes into the picture. We get a different perspective. If we hold on to our goals, they become masters instead of servants. But if we let them go, we often feel uneasy or guilty that we didn't keep our commitment. We find it hard to maintain a high balance in our personal integrity account when we constantly change our goals or fail to achieve our goals. Ladders against the wrong wall. While failing to achieve our goals creates painful problems, accomplishing them can as well. Sometimes the goals we achieve are at the expense of other more important things in our lives. It's the ladder against the wrong wall syndrome, meaning we climb the proverbial ladder of success only to find that it's leaning against the wrong wall for us. One of our associates shared this story. Several years ago, a man announced to his friends and neighbors that his goal for the year was to earn $1 million. He was an entrepreneur who believed, "Give me a good idea and I can sell $1 million." He developed and patented a state-of-the-art recreational product and then drove around the country selling it. Occasionally, he would take one of his kids with him on the road for a week or so. His wife complained to him about taking the kids, saying, "When they come back, they stop saying their prayers and doing their homework. They just party the whole week. Don't take the kids if you aren't going to help them do the things they ought to be doing." Well, at the end of the year, the man announced that he had met his goal. He made $1 million. Shortly after, however, he and his wife divorced. A couple of his kids wound up on drugs. Another went off the deep end. Basically, the whole family disintegrated. This man was focused on a single goal and measured everything against it. But he failed to count the total cost. That $1 million cost him a lot more than it was worth. When we become consumed by a single goal, we're like a horse with blinders, unable to see anything else. Sometimes our goals are hit-and-run goals that leave bodies strewn along the way. At other times, our goals may be well-intended, but accomplishing them creates other undesirable results. A program participant from Russia shared this experience. Gorbachev wanted to restrict the use of alcohol and not allow the Russian people to drink as much. It was like the American prohibition, with similar results. Rather than turning to more productive activities, as was hoped, people went from drinking alcohol to using narcotics instead. The government achieved their goal of dramatically reducing the consumption of alcohol, but it didn't bring them what they wanted. We typically set a goal with the expectation that meeting it will create positive change and quality of life results. But often the change isn't so positive. Accomplishing one goal impacts other areas of life in a negative way. When we come face to face with the results, we become disillusioned. In light of this disillusioned if we do and doomed if we don't dilemma regarding goals, is it possible to have the power without the problems? To build a strong personal integrity account by setting and achieving meaningful goals on a regular basis? To be able to let go of or change or even partly reach a goal and still maintain or even add to our personal integrity account? To ensure that our ladders are leaning against the right walls? We affirm that it is possible, even that we can access a significant increase in the power of goal setting. The key is in using our 4 human endowments in a synergistic way in setting and achieving principle-based goals. Done well, traditional goal setting is powerful because it accesses the power of 2 of our unique endowments: creative imagination and independent will. We use our creative imagination to visualize, to conceive of possibilities beyond our direct experience. We use our independent will to make choices, to transcend background, scripting, and circumstance. When we set a goal, we're saying, I can envision something different from what is, and I choose to focus my efforts to create it. We use our imagination to keep the goal in mind and our independent will to pay the price to achieve it. The power of these 2 endowments is formidable. It's the power of purposeful living, the fundamental process of conscious change. But it's only a small part of the power available to us. What's often missing in the goal-setting process is the power of 2 other endowments: conscience, the deep connection of goals to mission, needs, and principles, and self-awareness, the accurate assessment of our capacity and the balance in our personal integrity account. Let's take a closer look at these two endowments to see how they can empower us to set and achieve meaningful goals. Conscience creates alignment with mission and principles. Conscience is powerful because it creates alignment with mission and principles and gives guidance in the moment of choice. The moment we set a goal, the moment we consciously decide to focus our time and energy towards a particular purpose, is a moment of choice. What determines that choice? Is it the social mirror, the agendas of others, values that are truncated from fundamental principles, needs, and capacities? Or is it a deep, principle-based, conscience-connected, contribution-focused fire within? Goals that are connected to our inner life have the power of passion and principle. They're fueled by the fire within and based on true north principles that create quality of life results. One of the best ways to access this power is to ask 3 vital questions. What, why, and how? What? What do I desire to accomplish? What is the contribution I want to make? What is the end I have in mind? A principle-based what focuses on growth and contribution. It isn't just setting and achieving goals that creates quality of life. Hitler set and achieved goals. So did Gandhi. The difference is what they chose to focus on. What we seek, we generally find. When we set goals that are in harmony with conscience and the principles that create quality of life, we seek and find the best. Why? Why do I want to do it? Does my goal grow out of mission, needs, and principles? Does it empower me to contribute through my roles? In the context of mission and vision, the what may be easier to identify than the why and how. Roger. After speaking on the importance of mission and roles in a recent seminar, I asked one of the participants if he would be willing to go through the goal-setting process with me in front of the group. He agreed. I said, "Okay, choose a role, any role you'd like." Father. What do you feel is the most important goal you could work on in this role? To improve my relationship with my 14-year-old son. Why? Well, our relationship's not that good. So why do you want to improve it? He's having a lot of challenges at school with friends and peer pressure. He's being pulled in directions that are not productive. I feel it's important to be close to him at this time in his life. Why? So I can help him stay on the right path and be productive. Why? Because he needs it. So why do you want to do it? To help him. Why? He was beginning to get a little flustered. Because I'm his father. It's my responsibility. So why do you want to do it? Frustration was evident on his face. Well, because there were 2 people at his table who absolutely could not sit still a minute longer. At the same instant, they both almost shouted, "Because you love him!" It was written all over his face. It was reflected in his words. It was so evident that people around him could sense the deep love he had for his son. Maybe he couldn't say it because of the seminar environment, or maybe he hadn't made the connection with that fire within. The moment these 2 people said the words, his face broke into a sheepish grin. "That's right," he said. "I love him." Everyone could feel the strength and peace that flooded over him. Without this deep connection, we go through life feeling duty-bound to develop sufficient self-control to achieve our goals, to endure to the end, to crawl battered and bruised over the finish line, if it's the last thing we do. There's no connection to our deep energy sources, our convictions, our experiences. We're working against ourselves, not sure why or even if we want to accomplish a particular goal. The commitments we make in a moment of enthusiasm don't have the sustaining power to carry us all the way to successful achievement of our goals. The key to motivation is motive. It's the why. It's what gives us the energy to stay strong in hard moments. It gives us the strength to say no because we connect with a deeper yes burning inside. If a goal isn't connected to a deep why, it may be good, but it usually isn't best. We need to question the goal. If it is connected, we need to push our thinking and feeling until we break through and create an open flow between the passion of vision and the goal. The stronger the connection, the stronger and more sustained the motivation. How? How am I going to do it? What are the key principles that will empower me to achieve my purpose? What strategies can I use to implement these principles? Once we create alignment between the what and the why, we're ready to look at the how. The choice of how often boils down to a choice between control and release styles of thinking and managing. If our paradigm is one of control, we assume that people have to be tightly supervised if they're going to produce or perform well. If our paradigm is one of release, our assumption is that, given the freedom, opportunity, and support, people will bring out the highest and best within them and accomplish great things. The way we see others in terms of control or release generally reflects the way we see ourselves. If we have a control perspective, we assume we have to exercise strict control over ourselves if we want to accomplish anything. If we have a release perspective, we see our primary leadership task as creating optimal conditions for releasing inner capacities. If our focus in goal setting is on the endowment of independent will, gut it out, discipline ourselves, do it no matter what, that's a good indication that our basic paradigm is one of control. Roger, I said, okay, how are you going to show your love? I don't know. I guess I'll just look for opportunities. How else? I'm going to invest the time. How else? I don't know. To tell you the truth, I'm scared. I've tried before and it hasn't worked.